How you doing? Thank you.
And yellow, and yellow.
Councilmember Jones, Squilla, Harity, Brooks, O'Rourke, Managing Director Teal, Commissioner Bethel, Solicitor Garcia, Rich Laser from the Parking Authority, Public Safety Director Adam Gear. We'll give everybody. Yeah, move over a little bit, Gear. Joe, good? One more. Okay, just give us a second, please. Okay. She's been fighting the cameras, the boulevard, a long, long time. Good to see you. Yes, yes. Why don't you stand next to the, no, stand right there next to, yes. Stand right there, please. We started. Councilmember Jones, this fight started in Harrisburg.
Is that right?
Yeah, long time. Let me start by saying good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. We're here today as part of an ongoing series of public announcements following the successful passage of our One Philly budget last week in council. I want to give a special thanks to Council President Johnson and all members of council. I want to say a special thank you to those members who are present with us today. Council members Jones, Squilla, Harity, Brooks, and O'Rourke. Can we give our council members a huge round of applause, please? We spoke in some detail last Friday about the budget and its significant investments in the people of Philadelphia. $2 billion in new operating and capital investments over the next 5 years. And all of that will support the core vision of the Parker administration's ultimate goal, objective, and our vision for the city, which is to make it safer Philadelphia, cleaner, greener, with access to economic opportunity for all. Today, we are going to focus more on the safer component of the vision that I've communicated for our city. And that first bill is related to gun violence. The bill number is 240472. We refer to it as the gun switch legislation. You may have heard our commissioner, council member Jones, or you may have heard me speak recently about some encouraging news that we've received as of late. And the stats are that gun violence is down in Philadelphia. It's declining. Homicides are down about 38%. Shootings are down 41%. The declining rate of gun violence is sharper here than in any other American city, large American city. And while it's true that that's good news, Philadelphia, let me be clear. We are not resting. We are not resting. When we have devices floating around Philadelphia, like these so-called switch devices, which can turn a handgun into a machine gun, there is no time to rest and or to slow down. I am tired of seeing story after story about innocent people harmed or worse because a perpetrator sprayed a street corner with a gun using this tool called a switch. We won't tolerate it. The bill that I am about to sign, Philadelphia, it in essence bans the production, the purchase, the sale, transfer, or possession of rate of fire acceleration devices, including switches, right here in the city of Philadelphia. This switch ban is the brainchild of the Office of Public Safety. So I want to say a huge thank you to Chief Public Safety Director Adam Gear and his office for working on this legislation. Our Chief Public Safety Director is a position that was signed into law. The voters made a decision. The City Council of Philadelphia they created the Office of the Public Safety Director here in the city of Philadelphia, and I am proud that Adam Gear is serving in that role for us. I also want to thank you, Councilmember Curtis Jones, who is chair of the Public Safety Committee for the City Council of Philadelphia, for working in partnership with this administration to continue this work in the area of public safety that you've been doing long before it became a popular thing to do. As a matter of fact, Philadelphia, I want you to know that the blueprint for a safer Philadelphia, that is the product of the work of Councilmember Curtis Jones in his role as chair of public safety, informs much of the work being done by the Parker administration. So I want to give Councilmember Curtis Jones, thank you, sir, for working with the administration to make this legislation a reality. From the beginning, I've acknowledged that I, as mayor, and the administration alone can't solve this gun violence crisis by ourselves. We need intergovernmental, cross-collaborative partnerships, which is why I'm glad we're working with Councilmember Jones on banning these devices. That's the first public safety bill. The second, and I'm looking at a young lady who's been advocating for this issue for a very long time. It's bill number 240434. It's the automated speed cameras on Broad Street. The traffic safety focus of this legislation is to ensure that when we talk about a safer Philadelphia, we want Philadelphians to know that traffic safety is a part of making Philadelphia safer. This bill allows for the installation of automated speed cameras on Broad Street, that it took an intergovernmental effort to make this all possible. Prior to the city and PennDOT partnering to install automated speed cameras on Roosevelt Boulevard, an issue I was proud to work in partnership with the Kenney administration to enact during my tenure as a member of City Council, because Roosevelt Boulevard was the most dangerous road in this city and one of the most dangerous in the state. In 2019, it was when we actually worked on this issue, and I want to say a special thank you to all of our partners who helped us. Experts from the University of Pennsylvania, they estimated that approximately 1 life is saved every month on the boulevard as a result of these cameras. Okay, 1 life a month. By that estimation, this technology has saved approximately 50 lives since they've been installed. Speeding violations on the boulevard have also dropped by 95% following the installation of cameras there. But now, Broad Street. I never, for me, I think of Broad Street, I just think the C-bus route. It's alarming to hear people say that now Broad Street is the most dangerous road to travel in our city. So we're going to take the same successes and lessons that we've learned from installing the Roosevelt Boulevard speed cameras and apply them to Broad Street. I just want to put these facts on the record. From 2018 to 2022, Broad Street suffered 169 fatal and serious injury crashes, 165 speeding-related crashes, and 456 pedestrian crashes. We fully expect that Broad Street will be every bit as successful as the project on the boulevard. By slowing drivers down, we make crashes less likely to happen, saving lives and making our city a safer place to travel for everyone, and that includes our motorists. We will continue to pass laws needed to put more of these cameras in place and continue to conduct projects that prioritize safety on our streets. I want to thank you to all of our partners at PennDOT, at the Parking Authority, at Philadelphia Police Department, and all of the advocates that made passing this legislation possible. The Byrd family immediately comes to mind, especially the Bicycle Coalition of Philadelphia and the Families for Safe Streets. Councilmember Mark Squilla. Every time you think about pedestrian safety and motor safety here in the city of Philadelphia, we want you to remember that it was Philadelphia City Councilman Mark Squilla who shepherded this legislation through the legislative process, working in partnership with the administration. And Councilmember Squilla, I want to say thank you on behalf of the people of the city of Philadelphia and all of our partners for your leadership. The next piece of legislation is a significant one. This one is in regard to the landlord-tenant officer eviction training. This is bill number 240018, entitled Eviction License Requirement. This is the third bill that I am going to sign today, and it as well is public safety related. It involves this requirement for more training for individuals or entities that carry out evictions of tenants. We've all seen the incidents that have generated the headlines regarding this issue, and we've seen the need to adequately train those who are carrying out the evictions. And we've all heard your calls for accountability. So on today, I am proud to be signing legislation to ensure that any entity carrying out an eviction has the proper training to do so. Philadelphia, I want to note for the record, and this is important for us to acknowledge, we are in a unique position because unlike other counties, the court allows a private entity appointed by the municipal court president judge to carry out court-ordered evictions. That means in Philadelphia, we have two entities that carry out evictions. And I heard a lot of folks when this legislation was being debated in Councilmember Brooks, who states that that's the responsibility of the sheriff's office. And we had to say, no, not just the sheriff's office here in the city of Philadelphia, but also private entities. Now, with today's signing of this legislation, this work is now only the beginning. Okay, it's not done. This is only the start with this reform. I'm excited to sign this important legislation into law, but I also want to be clear about this, because I've seen sometimes legislation passed and we get so excited about the legislation that's passed, we forget that what makes legislation effective and efficient is when it's enforceable. Do you hear? In Philadelphia, this is important to me that you know, we can pass a law to do just about anything in the city of Philadelphia. But if the administration doesn't have the wherewithal and ability to implement the legislation, it's all been for a headline and nothing else. In this case, I want you to know our city departments, and that includes licenses and inspections, they may have some challenges as we don't have all of the answers on how exactly this is going to work, but this is what we do know, There is a new process for us here in the Philadelphia. While the state has constables and we have a sheriff's office, both of them going through training, we are creating a new process for private entities appointed by the court. That's going to require coordination between the city, the courts, and the state to ensure 189 hours of required training to ensure that it is completed in accordance with the law, that the insurance requirements are met, that all of the taxes and the fees are paid up to date, and the creation of the license actually occurs. And those are just a few of the boxes the administration is responsible for making sure is checked. We don't get here without this legislative process moving through the council and with the leadership of Councilmember Kendra Brooks, Councilwoman Brooks, for all of those who have ever been in the vulnerable position of having to be evicted, who knows what it's like when you are being forced to move. We say thank you for looking out for their public safety and their interests. We look forward to further working with you in a very collaborative way, Council Member, to ensure that this legislation will be implemented in a way that adequately addresses the unacceptable tragedies Philadelphians have faced while undergoing evictions, and undoubtedly vulnerable and an uneasy process. So all of these bills in their own ways, Philadelphia, work to do what I committed to doing for you, that I don't and won't apologize to anyone about, and that is to make your public health and safety our #1 priority. And on today, with these members of council, along with members of the administration who are here, we're going to sign some legislation into law to make good on that promise to you. Thank you to each of you. And I think I saw, and I'm not sure, Councilmember Rue Landau. You here? Give Councilwoman Rue Landau a round of applause. Thank you, Councilmember, for being here. And I've been told that what we need to do is sign. And then after we sign, you all can't leave. We want to make sure, even after we hear from the folks that we need to hear from, no one standing up here is allowed to make a beat, because they run real fast. No one's allowed to make a beeline for the door. Put your hands together for Councilmember Curtis Jones.
What I'd like to say first and foremost is I remember at St. Joe's University there were 11 candidates up on the stage. And meticulously, we asked each and every one of them tough questions. And what I remember about our mayor is she did not duck the tough questions. And she said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to keep us safe, we're going to be greener. And all I got to say today is promises made, promises kept. Thank you so much. To your incredible team, to our Chief Public Safety Officer, to our Managing Director, to our Police Commissioner, these guys have rolled up their sleeves in a meaningful way with this legislation to make sure that we don't stop the struggle to keep reducing those numbers. And I'm so thankful as Chair of Public Safety for that we are, all you got to do is look down Kensington. We're serious about public safety in the city of Philadelphia. And for that, for you and your team and our team of city council members, because that vote went down 17-0. It was unanimous. It was unanimous. And I thank the leadership of our council, our president, Johnson, for being a team member on this subject matter. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilmember Jones. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is a good day. This is a good day. I'm excited. I'm excited because I can't tell you what the feds are doing, federal government, can't tell you what the state is doing about this horrific, dangerous issue of bump stocks, but I can tell you what Philadelphia is doing. I can tell you what we're doing under the leadership of our mayor, under the partnerships, these tremendous partnerships we have with council members. Councilmember Jones, always supporting our initiatives for public safety, always working. Stanley Crawford, community members. We got Ricky Duncan. We have our other advocates here. If the cameras would turn around and show them, we've got law department who helps us, the managing director. Mayor likes to put it one way with One Philly. And by the way, I didn't want to tell this. I almost did that the other day in an event. And I chickened out. I was going to do the One Philly, I chickened out. Only she can do the One Philly. But with Odunde just having passed and with Juneteenth, there's an African proverb that I know you all have heard before. It takes a village. It truly, truly takes a village, right? All of us to get this work done here in Philadelphia, doing what we have to do. Like the mayor said at the beginning, we don't have time to wait for anyone else. We must take control over what we can control and move forward day after day after day with the haste and the intention that this serious issue deserves. I have to tell you, back in March, do you remember this shooting where we had 8 young people shot?
Yes.
Guess what was attached to that clock? Okay? One of these switches, one of these horrific devices of trauma and murder. And there is absolutely no reason why anyone in their right mind should be able to attach one of these mechanisms which turns a gun into a machine gun. And if you don't believe me, go to YouTube. Put in a simple search for bump stock, put in a search for a Glock switch. See how these things operate and what they do. And the scariest thing is it's just not about the shooting right at some person over some stupid beef. You can't control these guns. That's how rapid they fire. So when you put a switch on one of these guns and you pull the trigger, you don't care about all of the other people and your neighbors in your community and the people in their homes, people walking down the streets, because you simply cannot control the rate at which the bullets are coming out of the gun. They are dangerous, they are lethal, they have no place on our streets, and again, we are doing something about it here with our partners and with our village. So I'm so incredibly proud to have these partnerships, to continue this work, but guess what? Today we're gonna sign this, and we're gonna get right back to work and continue the good fight. So thank you.
We have with us Adam Garber. Adam Garber is here from Ceasefire, PA. Councilmember Jones, this is a blast from the past because all of our work about the mandatory reporting of lost and stolen guns and every platform, the first time we ever got a vote on the floor of the House, it came when our communications director, Joe Grace, was the executive director of Ceasefire. I was a member of the Pennsylvania House. And so we want to say to you, Adam, thank you so very much for being here, and thank you for your leadership of Ceasefire.
Thank you, Mayor Parker. Ceasefire PA is the state's gun violence prevention advocacy group, and it's an honor, and I deeply appreciate the work of Mayor Parker, Councilmember Jones, and the rest of City Council in continuing to make sure that Philadelphia is a place where everyone can live safely, free from gun violence, so that they can thrive. I have to say, I testified after Adam Geer the other week in favor of this bill, and it's always a hard act to follow. Everyone should be able to live free from gun violence, but when you can order a small part online in minutes, turn a gun into something that indiscriminately spews bullets into a crowd with devastating impact, no one can live safe in our communities. And I want to be clear about what's at stake here, because City is taking a step forward that other elected officials and decision makers have not had the courage to. Just last week, we heard how the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a ban on bump stocks, which does the same thing for long guns, turning them into assault rifles. And it doesn't invalidate, I want to be clear, what the city can do. But those individuals didn't have the courage to say no one needs this tool in their communities because its only purpose isn't to keep you safe, it's to kill other people. Our elected officials in Harrisburg also didn't have the courage to stand up to the gun industry when just 6 weeks ago, they killed a bill that would have banned bump stocks and lock switches, including representatives from Philadelphia, like Representative White, and others from the suburbs, like Representative Williams, putting our people in danger. But Philadelphia is not going to stop, and it's not going to stop from keeping our community safe. We're not going to allow those other people. And so today is another step forward where we're finding innovative solutions. The last thing to know is those innovative solutions can spread beyond Philadelphia. Because the ghost gun ban that the city started has already been passed in Harrisburg, is being considered in Reading and Lancaster and other cities, and hopefully next we'll see this bill on the agenda. So thank you for leading Philadelphia, and thank you for keeping us safe.
Thank you, Adam, and I'm with you, Councilmember Jones. I don't know if I believe you, Adam. You all right by yourself. Next, we're going to hear from the gentleman who first mentioned this tool to me. I didn't know what it was, but in the midst of doing the amazing work that he does, but quite challenging and trying work. He's been chief advocate for public safety here in the city of Philadelphia. Give it up for the best police commissioner in the nation, our police commissioner, Kevin Bethel.
So I think I've been quoting the mayor quite often now. Yesterday during our recruitment, I said, it's not what you say, it's what you do. You know, and that's the mayor we have and the leadership we have today. So I'm just so grateful for the support we're receiving. I think Adam eloquently described, that's what was my mind today, thinking about that March day in the rain, watching the number of young people who were just mowed down and watching this weapon go off, and within 5 seconds, you know, countless, over 30 plus rounds are being discharged. And so any of the work that was being done, I've been side by side with Councilman Jones for half of my career in his public safety work, and he has always been there with us. I know the city solicitor and others were involved. And so I'm just appreciative. As the mayor said, safety is not just about policing. It's much more comprehensive. It's about the work to bring safety in all areas, and this is just another tool and another way for us to be able to have support as we go about doing our work. I'll shift to Broad Street. Some days I come down Broad Street, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm like, where am I? Like, am I on some roadway? We've seen what has happened on the boulevard throughout my 38 years and seen the significant impact we've had on the boulevard, but we also recognize that we have other areas that need to be addressed, and so we're also grateful. I just recently did an initiative on Broad Street where we were putting countless officers on Broad Street in an effort to slow people down and to stop the senseless accidents and fatalities that we've seen on Broad Street year after year. And so the fact that we're now going to use the technology and the data that says we need to be moving now into Broad Street, again, is another way to demonstrate to the city of Philadelphia that safety is not just a police officer standing here, it is all of our collective efforts. It's a team effort, it's an intergovernmental effort, and if we continue down this path, we can make this the safest, greenest, and cleanest city in America. So thank you, everyone. With economic opportunity for all.
Councilmember Mark Squilla.
Thank you, Mayor, and I'll be sure, because I know we want to sign these bills to make sure we can start enforcing them. But real quick, and I do want to reiterate what a lot of people have said, it's really great to have somebody just not say things, but do things, and I want to thank Mayor Parker for that and appreciate the willingness to do things and get things done. On the speed cameras, too, I do want to say that Broad Street, when it was brought to my attention about the number of fatalities there, and really we got to give credit to a lot of our advocacy groups and the Bike Coalition, really appreciate the support that having this understanding. But it's about the police working harder, but also about working smarter. We know that, you know, when we engage individuals on the street, sometimes there's chances for other things to happen, and be able to issue violations in the mail where people get those violations, and then be able to say, you know, that wasn't a specific engagement and it wasn't a targeted individual, it was somebody who was just going too fast where they shouldn't have been. So this also makes it easier for us as we do enforcement and as we make the streets safer. We're also doing it in a way that also understands that we also limit the number of engagements and the number of chances for things to go wrong. But I also want to thank the Parking Authority, obviously, who's been a great partner on this, Rich Laser and Corinne. Thank you. Mike Carroll and Chris from from Otis, who have been great leaders on this in conversations, along with our colleagues along Broad Street, Council President Johnson, Councilmember Bass, Councilmember Young, and Phillips, all the folks that actually get to see and hear from our constituencies what it means when somebody has to go through and suffer through an accident or a crash. It's not an accident when you're going too fast, right? It's a crash because it's something that could have been prevented. So it's also there, and our great advocates in Nicole Burnett and Latanya Bird for your continued work effort to make this happen. Thank you so much for your advocacy. And hopefully it'll mean that we don't have to hear from others who have to go through this trauma of a fatality or a serious injury. Because when traffic is slower, even if you do have an accident or a crash, the likelihood of a fatality happening gets reduced. So this is our goal. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for your leadership on this. Thank you to all our colleagues who had voted to pass this bill and all the bills that you have in front of us. I'm happy to sponsor all of them. But it really means a lot to make sure that we're really talking about safety and public safety and how that is a priority of not only the council, but the administration. Thank you.
Rich Laser, the Parking Authority.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank your leadership on this. I also want to thank Councilman Squilla on his leadership. This is extremely important, and I think the mayor hit every fact that there is. I mean, this is governed by the data. We look at the data. We look at the crash data. This is really a partner effort with Streets, Otis, PennDOT. We get together. We make the decisions on where we will save people's lives, and that's what these cameras do. 94%, 95% drop in speeding on the boulevard, but also the significant over 30% lower serious crashes on the boulevard. It really matters. And when we were up with Nicole and Latanya and Stephanie up in Harrisburg, fighting the fight to get this approved, I want to thank State Rep Nielsen, who got this and carried this for us across the finish line. But again, it's really a team effort, and I want to thank the mayor for leading the charge and helping us get this done. Thank you, Mayor.
Mike Curl, who was sitting, I had to find him in the audience.
I'll talk from the heart. I just have to say, this is certainly the speed camera bill indication of the theme the mayor has put in front of us in terms of intergovernmental cooperation manifesting itself at the same time as One Philadelphia manifesting itself. Something so simple and so basic, having people drive the speed limit to keep their neighbors and themselves safe so they can get home to their families, no problems. That's such an incredible thing. We just have to celebrate the moment. I thank you, Mayor Parker.
Thank you. Our partners. Is Sharang here from PennDOT? PennDOT? Come.
Sure.
Like, if you didn't see the partners, you would just think they were on paper, right? But they're here. We want people to see you and know you're present.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I just want to say it's been a pleasure to work with the City of Philadelphia, transportation partners, to get this much-needed safety improvement on the Broad Street corridor. The department just looks forward to continuing this partnership and, enhancing safety in the Philadelphia region.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
All right. At least they know you were here. Is Nicole Brunette here from the Bicycle Coalition? Give Nicole a round of applause. Come on, Nicole.
Thank you so much, Mayor Parker, and to all of City Council. We are here today, many of us, to say we want to stop deaths that are preventable. And that is really what the speed cameras does. It changes drivers' behavior so we have less reckless, senseless, and avoidable deaths. So I really appreciate your effort, and we look forward to continuing this to make all of our roads safe.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You heard me reference her earlier today, the first time I met her, and now I'm referencing Latanya Bird. It was during her advocacy in Harrisburg when former state representative John Taylor was our chief advocate, and Latanya and her family had suffered a tragedy. I am so grateful that you were willing to turn your pain into power in advocating for the community impacted by the loss of life and, quite frankly, tragedy. And today, for the first time, I've talked with Stephanie. And want to say to you now, Stephanie, thank you for turning your pain into power. Give both of them a huge round of applause. We want you to meet them.
Hello, I am proud to stand here today. I'm happy that our Madam Mayor is always supporting our safety efforts here in the city of Philadelphia. So I have been traveling to Harrisburg a lot in the past 10 years and meeting, and I'm also a co-founding member of the National Family for Safe Streets. And being on that board, guess what? We're on the map. Everyone wants to do what we're doing here. They're calling from all over the United States to speak to us, and they want to follow what we're doing here to save our family lives. And I want Reverend Stephanie to speak.
Good afternoon. I just want to thank this administration for hearing us and listening to us as we move forward. As Latanya has said, we have been city, state, and federal. So we've been fighting the fight of faith for a long time. My son was killed on Broad Street outside of the 35th district, but I went from trauma, tragedy, to triumph. So today it is a mighty triumph for the speed bumps for those on Broad Street. I live off of Roosevelt Boulevard. I thank God for the city of Philadelphia because there's still a lot of love here in the city of brotherly love and sisterhood of affection. We are making progress. This speed camera means less vehicle fatalities. So little by little, inch by inch, because it's up there with gun violence, and people didn't understand that. Although my son was hit with a vehicle, it was a bullet, because when he put that car in drive, he pulled the trigger. But today, I can stand here and say, to God be the glory for the things he's doing with this administration, and thank each and every one of you. The police department, the fire department, so many people that came forth when my son passed. So, we're victorious, right?
That's right.
With the Philadelphia Family of Faith Streets and the Bicycle Coalition, amen? We're better together.
That's right. Case studies on turning pain into power. We're now going to hear from Council Member Brooks about the eviction license requirement.
I'm going to cut this really short. Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. Thank you so much for all my council colleagues. You know, what we're doing is setting a new standard for renters here in Philadelphia. We set a standard with the eviction diversion program. Thank you so much for that. New standards with the Angel Davis Eviction Accountability Act. And next, we need to set some new standards around the conditions around rental properties. And I'm bringing that up because I rushed in from another press conference about rental properties. So I just want to thank the mayor for all her hard work and just supporting the renters' rights legislation that I've been moving in council. And we're in a new day, and I'm so excited to be a part of this. I want to thank all my council colleagues for being willing to stand up and fight for the rights of renters. And I want to thank Angel Davis, who's here in the crowd, for her sacrifice and being willing to come out every time to let other renters know that when our government works together to protect the people, we all win. Thank you.
Sign, but you remember you locked the doors. Come on over here. Come on.
I don't know. She's the mayor. She said stay.
That's right. Gotcha.
Is she holding them? Maybe she's holding them.
So are we.